Have you ever really wanted to meet someone famous, and when you get a chance to meet them, they live up to the hype and they're almost better than you imagined in your mind? That's what happened to me last week when I got a chance to interview Jay Wright, the head Villanova basketball coach, on the Follow My Lead podcast. At the same time, I got to interview Jud Linville, who's the CEO of card services at CITI, and I learned more in leadership in that 30 minutes from those two men than I've learned in many months. I'm here today to share three of my favorite lessons from the show. The first is to focus on your habits. Now, we've all heard about how important habits are towards success, but I love the story that Jay Wright told. All of his players walk down a hallway when they go to practice every single day. And at the end of that hallway, there's a sign. And the sign says, "We practice to create habits that will enable us to be successful in the most difficult environments." That's why habits are so important, because when things get hard, that's when it's most important that you're great at what it is that you do. The second big lesson is to look beyond talent. Look, every great leader knows how important talent is. But talent will only get an organization or a team so far. It won't sustain success over long periods of time. Jud Linville looks for three really important characteristics beyond talent. The first is intellectual curiosity. The second is grit. And the third is character. I love these three. Jay Wright looks for two C's, is what I call them: competitiveness and character. I want to highlight competitiveness because it's easy to see why a college basketball coach would want competitiveness, because when that ball goes up in a basketball game, the competition is on. But I would argue it's even more important in business, because the game is going on every single day, 24 hours a day, and you don't always see your competition. So having people on your team that are competitive and want to win is super important for you to be successful. The third lesson is stay a student. The best leaders are learners, and we all know that. But it was a moment in the interview when Jud Linville gave a quote from Napoleon. He said, "A leader's job is to define reality and deliver hope." I just loved it. But here's where the story got great. At the end of the interview, we had stopped recording, and Jay Wright looked at Jud Linville and he said, "Can you repeat that quote? I want to learn it." And Jay got a piece of paper, wrote it down by hand, and he had every reason to not care or to not think about the things that he heard in that interview. But he wrote it down because he wanted to stay a student and become a better leader for himself. Take these three lessons in your career or with your team to be a better leader at home and at work.